Before we get into this evening's live, I need to go over a quick synopsis and overview of what we're going to go over and what my feelings are and what I think is most likely to occur here. So XRP right now is at a very interesting spot as we inch up near that 51.5 cent mark. And as this live goes on, you're going to see more and more why this is very, very important for us to break this level. I decided to do this outside, so you're going to have to bear with the wind, but it's going to be like the last day I'm going to get outside, probably to do a live. I can't believe it's still in the 60s. It's just over 60 degrees right now. And it's November 5th here in Michigan, so, you know, it's kind of late to be getting this kind of weather, so I'm going to embrace it. Mo, UK, Phil, and Mark, welcome in. Thank you, all three of you, for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XRP Predictor. Messi, welcome in, and Martin, good evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Say DK, XRP to the moon. Yes, indeed. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 moon badge. James says Trump, Trump, Trump. Now, I don't do political stuff here. I just go by policy, but I don't speak politics in here. But we understand the central banks run deep within both sides. That's all I'll say. But with XRP, we're approaching a spot that would help us flip to a bullish sentiment here. I've been waiting all day to see if it'll do it. I'm hopeful that this will play out in this fashion. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm hopeful that this will happen. If that's the optics right now, as some are speaking in chat about pray for a Trump win for XRP. Mark Caston, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. I believe I said hi to you already, but never bad to say it a second time. Daniel, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Greatly, greatly appreciate that level of support from you. I do really appreciate it. But what I want to see in here, because I know there's going to be some divisive natures here tonight because of the election and Harris versus Trump, blue versus red. Yeah, just we do things from a standpoint of positivity, not negativity, and we do it from a standpoint of love, not hate. I'm sick of all the hate in the world, so I do things a little bit different here, especially as of late. We do this from a standpoint of love. We don't play the victim here. We've never been the victim, nor will we ever be the victim in this community. We play the winner because we are one. We're doing more than just playing. You have to act the part. So you need to have all the information from an education and charting perspective, even the news, to make an informed decision when you're trying to trade these assets. You need to understand the difference between currency and money. You need to understand that crypto is not an enemy to gold, or Bitcoin is not an enemy to gold, just like precious metals aren't an enemy to crypto. They actually work hand in hand. You could be building your own central bank if you understood one asset class to the next and understood how to utilize them in a proper fashion. Gold and silver, for instance, is used as a savings account, a long-term savings account, one you don't want to touch because it'll yield returns that you have no idea of how big. Your goal is to not have to spend that, and out of sight, out of mind, and have the wherewithal of understanding that those profits have now been turned into real money and not a speculative currency. And that's big. The biggest thing as well is to understand and be able to rationalize between the FUD and fear and uncertainty and doubt and the facts. So I do my best through a technical way to do that with each and every one of you. The Gatmen, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 moon badge. XRP Goat, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army and continuing in Tom's Army for your 2nd month, along with Jorge and with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I really appreciate that so much. So there's a lot we'll go over. We're going to go over as well tonight to see the liquidity zones that Bitcoin tapped today that were above. We talked a little bit about the upper zones yesterday. My morning update, we talked about the upper and lower zones, but I brought it into the smaller time frames so that we could see exactly where we were trending. What is going on here? It does this a lot for some reason. It'll get caught up on the heat map, almost as if they don't want you to bring it up and down. But anyhow, we'll go back to this in a minute. But we'll go over the heat liquidation map on Bitcoin and see where we covered. Let me let this refresh real quick. But we'll see where it's already covered on that top liquidity and see if there's a little bit more in the shorter time frames that we can come up and grab still, because it kind of feels like we're going to end up coming up and grabbing more. But if this doesn't reset, I'm going to have to do it myself and reset this, which it's looking that way. But it's very important. There we go. So it's very important to understand these zones. And in the last 24 hours, we've created a lot of things as well. We can see in Bitcoin too, that looks like a W reversal is starting to play out there. And that happens to be right on a very crucial trend line, which is that megaphone pattern support. And this is still very, very bullish for Bitcoin. As long as it doesn't lose 67,700, it's super bullish right now. And could it reverse very quickly? Maybe. But some skeptics would say if crypto's pumping going into the end of the election, you know, it speaks one way, or if it was dumping, it'd speak another. But we're going to do it from a non-election standpoint, and we're going to look at this from the technicals and see what it's telling us. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this this live. Whether you are looking at it or not, or part of the community or not, it'll pop up in the news feed. So some of the eyes that might not have seen us before, might be willing to give us a shot. Maybe someone who has seen us in the past wanted to find their way back, and maybe some will just scroll past. That's fine. But give us the best shot. So let me do this timestamp real quick, and please hit that like button and help this community grow, as we are very close to 28,000 subscribers, less than 400 away, which is unbelievably awesome. Good evening. 6:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I really do want to thank everybody for tuning in this evening. I know there's a lot of things that'll be tugging you one way or the other. A lot of people are interested in seeing what's going to happen in the election. A lot of people from different countries seem to have an even deeper investment as well, which is nice to see, because they understand what most Americans don't, how important this actually is, at not the election in itself, but the direction we go. Pump Master Flash says Pip Sniper pointed it all out, 13 to 27 bucks. Oh, well, if Pip Sniper said so, we'll have to take that with a grain of salt. But I'm not here to bash anybody, nor am I here to praise anybody except our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So let's continue here. Thank you, anti-communists. I appreciate that. Gold and silver is the way I agree with that, Gap, man. I've definitely put my money where my mouth is in that regard for the last about 8 years. Let's see. But yeah, let's get into the XRP and let's see what this pivotal point is. Like, what is the pivotal moment? What is the pivotal moment? So right now with XRP, if we look in the daily time frame, and let's get out of this, we got to get to the right chart just so it puts it in perspective. And we're going to want to put this in perspective. So for XRP, here's the bottom line. We have this short-term consolidation. So let me get my arrow out, because it's going to be a lot easier if I talk about this with the arrow so everybody knows. So we came up. This is for the first time in this section here in almost 7 years. That downtrending resistance line that is now being acting as support, even here, that used to be a resistance for over almost 7 years. Since the all-time high happened in January of 2018. Took 27 months to form this uptrending support in March of 2020, which has acted as support ever since. Now, right here, we came down for a big double bottom, it looks like. There's a big double bottom that could possibly be formed right here. Boom, we speculated if it could do this and then roll out, that we could have a huge W reversal, and then at least it would come back up here and retest around 58.2 cents. Now, we ask ourselves, is that a logical area if XRP actually gets hot here? Well, we have to find out. We have to find out the other short-term setups here. Unfortunately for all of you, I have it. The very first thing XRP must do, and if you're asking me, it looks to be printing a lot of inverted hammer candles right now in the 4-hourly. That's a good sign because, well, I mean, unless it's actually a bearish candle, but right now it's a good sign because the daily, it looks like an inverted hammer candle here, which is bullish. And we're looking for a daily close right now over 51.40 cents. We're also looking to get over, and we can put it as low as possible so that we can see it in real time, 51.46 cents. So we're trying to close up here and have a a new close for the higher high closes of, or this close would be higher than the higher high or the high of last daily candle, so we can try to reverse course here, because we had a hammer candle right here. This was an indecisive candle, and having an inverted hammer after this hammer, and this is more bullish to me still here because of how this candle's playing out. So it looks like we have a massive reversal taking place here. And if it is meant to play out, we'll know, because it'll get past that 51.46 cent mark. And the cool thing is, yesterday and the day before, we liquidated some of the shorts after it came back up and everybody was starting to buy. And we had this big volatility that came up here, dropped back down to 49.5. That liquidated, I think, almost $400,000 worth of longs, I mean, just by doing that. So that got rid of some of the longs. Not as much as could have been liquidated. If it goes down a little bit lower, well, it would need to go down lower to liquidate a bigger amount. But there's a lot of shorts now that could also be taken out that have been created on this bear flag. So these are the moments where nothing's certain. Nothing is certain in these moments. But hold on, so we've got this. But now let's say we get above that 51.4, and then we get above 52.6, which is right here. I'm just trying not to cloud this up or clog it up. Now, we do have very interesting levels. Remember we talked about that 58 cents and if it's relevant? Well, I would certainly say it's relevant. I would certainly say it's relevant, because 58.86, 59 cents is where this short-term resistance, I like reading some of the comments, but the short-term resistance that we get, this started back in March of this year, so this has been a consolidation. Now the support goes all the way back to June of this year, and that's why I have the 33.60 in case we fall out. But the only way to fall out is to lose the 2020 uptrend, and if we fall out of that, it could extend this pattern out, and until 26, 27. It gets a little dicey when that happens. So 58 cents makes sense. Now there is more evidence here. We have this cup and handle, and we're still very much within the handle, and right now the resistance, and let's get rid of this right now. The resistance is right about 56.8 cents. So we have some work to do here. So do I think this could be a good time for a bullish tug? I kind of do. It's just, we have to be very careful if Bitcoin falls out here, because there's a lot of liquidity to find to the bottom. And I've been asked multiple times if now's the time to take out a leverage going long. No, because you got to see it break that first line of resistance at 51.5 cents and hold it. We've got to make sure this is an inverted hammer today, and that we're going to have a higher close than yesterday's. So from yesterday's daily candle wick high, we want to close above that now. We want to close above that here, and we would have to close above 51.42 approximately. If we close above 51.50, it would be great, but that could still be a trap. And it's great to look at XRP, but we all know crypto right now, in the tune of over 60% of all money, over 60.5% of all money finding its way to crypto, is finding its way into Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance, some are saying, is out of control. Is it? Or is this a precursor to a big bull run that we had in 2021? XRP had a huge bear market rally, but never succeeded by reaching new highs. We're not even on the radar right now, because in 2021, when alts had that, we were up to 73% of all money was in Bitcoin. That is a real top. That's a real top. Right now, we're trying to finish this cup and handle, which should get us to 63.2. I don't make the rules, folks. I just try to abide by them so that I don't get plucked out of the crowd, okay? And yeah, there's higher ones, but I try not to get plucked out of the crowd. And why I follow the rules is because if you follow the rules, doesn't mean you can't divvy your own plot of the rules. But now we follow the rule, not the exception, right? So we have this little cup and handle that if you just go right here, we came up, had this little drop. That's just a part of the V-shaped recovery. So now you look at the top. So we're going to have to fill out where this happened first. And that's how we get that first layer. And that's not my rule. It's because we created another cup here. And what would that do, ladies and gentlemen? Whoa, what is that? Holy shit, if that played out, right? So what is that? Can that W possibly play out all the way? I mean, could it come back up and dominate 100% of it? You know, one would argue that if we do have that the colossal dumping of all the tokens that are bullshit, that Bitcoin would have to command a lot of the money. And then when we have that ultimate run, the meme tokens would start to get taken out, at least the ones that have no utility. Because the meme, basically, this incites a bigger rally if this can actually play out. And I know it's crazy to say that, but if this much money's finding its way into Bitcoin, every single time it sells out, where do you think the money finds itself? And the crypto crowd doesn't speculate much with precious metals. So that's a problem. So it's going to find its way back into the altcoins. And then once the altcoin, so basically it'll go Bitcoin, and Ethereum will take some of it as well. But 60% is in Bitcoin right now. It's insane. And it doesn't look to be slowing down at any point here. It looks like it's going to keep, I mean, it's oversold like a son of a bitch in the weekly. Monthly's down there, but these are bullish candles right now. And the fact it's bouncing off of its support and Bitcoin, off of this megaphone consolidation on the cup and handle, I mean, you got to respect it until you don't. It's bullish until it's not. Now, the one thing I'll say right now in the weekly, it's a pretty pitiful candle, because this could definitely swing back down here in a heartbeat and turn into a reversal. And what would cause Bitcoin to want to reverse down here and try to retest maybe a little bit below here? What could possibly make Bitcoin, you know, sense blood in a sense and come down for a further push up, but come down for that added support that could allow that bounce to happen? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad this audience had the wherewithal to ask. So in the last, I go to the 3-day chart, because I don't want to go to the 12-hour, because I don't see a point. Let's some history build. So well, we can't see it now because we came up here. But yesterday we talked about if we came up here, there was like 300 and 400 million right when you got close to 70K. But as we go up higher, let's get into the, oh, this is Binance. We need it. Oh, why is it on Binance? This map is shit. I don't want just Binance. What is this map? This isn't my map. What is going on here? Let's see if I can find the right map, because this is not what I want. Always screwing up everything, aren't they, ladies and gentlemen? They're always messing up everything. This is not how it was set up for me before. See what we can find here. Ah, here we go. See? There we go. Okay. So in the 3-day, we did come up through here. So now we don't know the liquidations because we came up and cleared some of it. But if we come up to 70,650, there's 285 million. Let's see if we go a little bit higher. 71,000 is about 337 million, right at 71,000. Man, but look at when we start to break this down, because the monthly is the one that gets me intrigued every time. It's every single time, because if we did have a tug down, what would bring us in that direction? Look at this. Look at how much money is building up here. How much is it now? Let's see where the top figure is right here. All right, so let's see. Look at that. 1.21 billion right now at liquidation leverage is at 64,550. So I can't get this out of my mind. Wow. I love you too, my friend. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor and being a very trusted mod indeed. Thank you so much for that, love. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. But ladies and gentlemen, look at this. That's a very interesting level there. We can all see it. We don't have to be afraid of it. And then if we come up a little bit higher, we can see there's some strong liquidations up here that we might want to pull before we come down there. And that's all we're trying to figure out here. So are we going to come up and get 500 million at 70,500? Are we going to come up here and get another 500 million at about 72,000? You know, there's a few $billion in liquidations up here as well. It's just in one, and you got to remember, you're clearing out all this other liquidation here on each of these levels. But to get to that massive liquidation zone, and then you come down here and look how small the liquidations are. It doesn't intrigue Bitcoin as much. So the argument is we would come down here first, and then we would swing out. Now, if we want to do it into the 6 month or the yearly, this will tell you the overall story, but it makes it a little bit more desirable. Or a little bit, it makes it a little bit, not desirable, but it makes it a little more apparent of what needs to happen. So even in the yearly, you're still going to get typical liquidation levels that look similar, but it might expand our view a little bit. So let's see. Up here, we've got 700. See how it opened it up all the way to the top? And we get the whole classification. So that's a lot of liquidation. But now it brings you all the way down to here, and it opens up the wider landscape. So that's why I chose to keep it down into the monthly, because we can keep it into a tighter narrative. You know, we can see what we might want to come get before we come back down. And that top side leverage has been created because a lot of people have started to go short. And then we've still got the short or the long leverage liquidation that we still need to. What is going on? I'm not sure what I don't know what happened. The Gatman, what did that say? But yeah, so that's where I keep looking at these liquidation zones. Now, that's the heat map. There's other things that we can look at. There's definitely other things we can look at, but that's the most important thing to me. That's the most important thing to me, because it's kind of like, it's like with betting. They always go after the money, so they call the smart money in a certain... The smart money would say that we have to go down there and get that big liquidity zone. That's what smart money would say. And it's very possible that we're being tricked here by being on the top side of this formation and already hitting that first resistance up there at 73,697 and then coming right back down this week. So there's a lot to be said, but we still have to look at the prospects. Like, I don't think even if Trump won or if Kamala won tonight, you're not going to hear it tonight. Pennsylvania's already come out and said it's going to take them like 3 days because these new voting machines they have are kind of acting up and they're not sure how to tally the votes properly, like as far as at an accurate speed. So they're saying it's going to take them 3 days to get it right, at least. So I don't think you're going to hear anything tonight. So the markets are kind of going to be set up here, but yeah, the liquidity is definitely a magnet, definitely. But I think the drop might happen tonight as well. Like, that's why I haven't put this long position in for anybody who's asking me, like fully putting it in. But if it does eke up here and gets inside this zone, then you have to ask yourself, is it making the run up to 56.8 or a minimum of 52.8, which would still give you an opportunity from 51.4 or 51.5 up to 52.6, I should say. There's an opportunity there from a leverage standpoint for everybody who keeps asking me in my inbox. That's about a 22% move on a 10x trade. And that's if it retakes 51.5 and you get the close up there. But I got a feeling that that leverage down there is real, you know. So then we start looking at, if we want to run up, historically you want less people to be on the long side of this futures contract, right? You want the majority to be going short here, because then there's a lot of money to go long for them to liquidate from the short side. Right now, though, it's quite the opposite tale. We're here. And let's see, I can't believe there's so many people. Is there really here tonight? You guys and gals are incredible. With all this stuff going on, there's 96. I don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Thank you so much. And please, if you are watching, hit that like button so that we can continue to push this content to everybody. I really appreciate it. Last 2 cycles, election day was Bitcoin low. Yep, oh, I'm very aware of that. That's why, with it being on the top side of this megaphone pattern, I'm paying very close attention to this opportunity. I'm already in XRP, as everybody knows, with spot. But I'm looking at the opportunity you know, for our copy trade, because we're starting it on Binance or BITUNIX. And after the test trade, I mean, it's phenomenal. It charged me 89 cents to open the trade. And when I sold out for the $5 loss, it charged me 86 cents for the sell. So, vote Tom. I already did. Kryptonian. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Oh, I did. Because you get two policies in front of you. And at least we get a choice of policy. I don't look at Trump or Harris. I just look at the policies in front of me. Yeah, Trump taught me stuff when I was younger, and I openly acknowledge I like Trump. He taught me things about business, the tax code, and things that you wouldn't have been privy to as a poor schlub like I am. And that's why I like Peter Schiff, Robert Kiyosaki, Mike Maloney, Jordan Peterson. We can go on, but there's certain people, you know, that need to, you know, you listen to just for knowledge. Oh, vote for Tom. Yeah, vote for Tom. Oh, vote Tom. Yeah, vote Tom. You could have wrote me in. No. But anyhow, we're not politics here. We're about education. Yes, vote Tom with a like. I appreciate that. So open interest right now. It's up, and this is good. This is good. If you're looking for some kind of surge, this can be a good sign. Oh, I've seen the Field of Dreams. I love it. In fact, me and Julie just watched it a couple months ago by chance. No joke, by chance. We watched it a couple times in a row. Because we don't pay for TV. Like, we don't have regular TV or anything. But, you know, with some creativity, you can get certain things. And that happened to come out on one of the free stations. But the open interest today is up 3.52% to 530.6 million. Perpetuals is taking most of it, but futures is at 2.2 million. If they build it, they will come, right? And there's a reason why. So the open interest share, we can see there. So right now on Bybit, leading the way with 258.1 million. Binance 208.9, OKX 45, BitMEX 7.4 million, Kraken 4.4, Huobi up to 3.7, Bitfinex 2.4, and WooX 732,000. The funding rate mostly positive, negative, so it's going to cost you a little bit on Kraken and OKX. Interesting. Liquidations, 24 hours. And this is what I love to read. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I freaking crave, okay? I crave knowledge, and I hope you all appreciate what I appreciate. And I know you do if you're here. But remember to do it in the good spirits and in the place of positivity, not negativity, of course. We're helpful, not hurtful here. So right now, liquidations in the last 24 hours, we have 641,000 in liquidations. Longs are 329,000 is from liquidation going long. Shorts are 312,000. So you had a mixed bag. Remember the few days before it was all longs being liquidated. This means we're getting a resurgence here. We're getting a flip right now. We have to pay attention to the flip in the metrics. For anybody who's been watching the last few days, do you see the flip in the metrics right now? Between the open interest going in the positive and the liquidations flipping from the longs being mostly liquidated, and now it's a 50-50 mix right now. There's a reason for this. It's starting to flip a little bit now. And there's a reason why it's going up right now. Look at all the people going long. Once that wears out, we'll see the true direction. But on the 5, there's 2.56 to 1 right now in XRP going long. Over short, 71.95% to 28.05%. And also on the daily, it's the same as in the 5-minute. In the 30 minutes, 2.58 to 1, 72.03% going long. 27.97% going short. In the hourly, 2.59 to 1 going long at 72.11% to 27.89% going short, and 2.61 to 1 long to short ratio at 72.3% going long, 27.7% going short. So the consensus right now is suggesting that we should go up according to the futures, but you know what ends up happening most of the time, you know, that's always up for debate. That is always up for debate. It is always up for debate. And I love reading this stuff. Like I could read this stuff And these are the biggest, you know, the biggest set that you'll get the data from. And man, do I love it. Man, do I friggin' love it. Let's see where the crypto fear and greed is. Oof. It's still so high. At 70, it makes you scared. You know how beneficial it would be if all of a sudden when everybody had this greed, that it would dump down to 64,500. XRP could dump down. At least all I want XRP to do, what I wanted it to do, was get rejected here and go to 47.7 cents. That's all I wanted. Thank you so much for that, Syrian, as well. I thank you. And Crazy Paul, thanks for echoing that thought. And being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. And if you appreciate my work, consider joining Tom's Army. Consider joining Tom's Army and join the team. You know, and if you don't want to join Tom's Army, you can always send a YouTube super chat if you would like. I'm certainly not going to stop you. You can go on the homepage and you can Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. But while we're getting this situated, not pizza reviews, make sure that while we're getting this situated, that you get on an exchange and you get your funds set right for when the time comes when you might want to make a purchase or when something going forward you need to do. You know, so it's on my homepage. It's very easy to do. All you have to do is click on this. On BITUNIX, everybody knows I'm going to be buying Algo, IOTA, IOTX are the main ones. IOTA and IOTX right out the gate. If we do get the next drop, or when the time is right, when I feel like I need to buy it, when I want to buy it. But I'm waiting for this shakeout. They have the lowest leverage fees. I can't even believe it. And it stayed transferable into the leverage trading with copy trading. So it's absolutely a player in the future for me. And if you want to get on board, join me on BITUNIX. And then you can follow me and do your due diligence if you want. But I encourage you to go there because of the lowest spot and leverage trading fees I've ever found. No KYC in the USA or around the world or VPN needed. So get ready for buying. If there's this drop, ladies and gentlemen, this is a historic opportunity. You got to get HOTCOIN as well because I'm going to be buying VELO. And the other cool thing, they also have, a lot of people are talking about for the GOAT token, right? Everybody's talking about GOAT. If you want to trade the GOAT token, whether it's going up or you see the next down, that's also on BITUNIX. They have the GOAT. So if you're into that, they have the GOAT. They have Amazon HOTCOIN and BITUNIX. They have all of this. They have what we need to buy. They need, well, not everything, but almost everything. But yeah, we're getting to that point though where I think XRP needs to release some demons from above. And if it does release these demons, then we could have that bounce. But it could also be clearing out another drop. But it looks like to me it's threading the needle here. It's trying to thread the needle. It's just, is it going to finish the thread? Or is the threading too damn thick and it won't fit through the needle, the hole? I don't know. The daily leaves me speculating that it should go up here because that's a beautiful inverted hammer. Am I wrong? That looks like an inverted hammer. You know, the charts have lied to us before. As far as having a candle that looks good in the daily, and then it said, well, Tom, you should be looking in the weekly. And then you're like, well, you know, if I go back to the weekly, well, that's also pulling up here a little bit. Well, Tom, you should go back to the monthly just to make sure. Well, the beauty of it is the monthly, you know, just started. And we got to right some wrongs here because that's a bearish reversal here that should get us down to 47 or 40. Oh, boy. So, yeah, we got to be careful. We've just got to be careful, and we just got to take this in at warp speed here. You know, we just got to make sure what's going on here before, you know, we make a rash decision. But it doesn't mean you can't trust your own gut. And like leverage trading sometimes is part of trial and error because you see something that you're oftentimes you're playing on something that's not exactly there yet. You're trying to have that intuition of what's coming next. If it wasn't for that big liquidity zone in Bitcoin, I'd say, oh, let's have at it. Let's have at it. Got 170 bucks there. We'll put in our trade. We'll let it ride. And then, you know, if worst case scenario happened and we got liquidated, 75% might leave the copy trading. The ones who wanted to stick around, we would try something new. You know, we would try another position where we felt good about. I can't say I feel good about it right here to put all my marbles in one place because of that liquidation zone on Bitcoin. And I'm sorry, but that is such a prevailing level. And just like for XRP, It would benefit so freaking greatly if it would just go down to 47 or ultimately touch 42 again. How do you feel about we finished C leg of ABC correction on Elliott 70? That is the speculation that I tried to get out in my earlier update, and I talked about the Elliott waves, how we're in corrective right now. But couldn't we go from corrective to impulse? And it doesn't mean we have to go to $1.15 or $1.18 or $1.20. That impulse could bring us to 70 cents. No, you shouldn't use leverage. But this is something I do for the community. A lot of people have questions, but I have 95% of my money is in spot. Only 5% of my crypto portfolio, not even 5% of it is in leverage, but that's something that I built up and I've been able to divvy around a little bit. That's all I do. And I don't encourage anybody to do it. I always talk against it. Yeah, so I don't do, yeah. I always say that leverage money is there for a reason. That's come from past profits that I felt comfortable putting in there. But it's a small, $170. That's all I'm willing to do. If it builds up, it builds up. And there's been many of times where it's happened, and then you'll see $600 or $700 in the leverage account. And then I'll take it out back down to 200 or so. This time I decided 170 was good, or 190, whatever the hell is in there, I don't know. But yeah, I encourage spot trading. This is just if you're trying to get a little bit of a feel, you know, and just see the importance of the futures market. Not even from a trading standpoint. It's so viable because oftentimes from a spot position, we get that liquidity for a further move up by liquidating futures contracts. I say it all the time. That's the easiest way to lose money is in the futures market. And I think it's set up that way for a reason. Because rich people, just hear me out. Rich people don't use futures. They normally will not use futures. They usually will just put that money in the spot position because they know it's their position not to be lost. And then they'll let it go at a 1, 2, 5, 10% clip. But the ones who might want to use, let's just say I wanted to have a $100,000 trade. Well, I've got $3,500 on BITUNIX. Maybe I'll do a 35x trade, right? That's the thoughts of some. And then they have a $110,000, $120,000 trade. The problem with that is if you go down 1% on a 35x trade, that's 35% of 3,500. So if you make that mistake, even if you made a small mistake and it was 5%, I'm telling you right now, you're going to be shitting bricks for a minute because you're going to be like, well, you know, it's only $235 or whatever. Then you're going to do it again and you're going to lose it. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute. I was just at 3,700. How am I under $3,000? And now how am I going to do what I was meant to do before? So it becomes a never-ending game of cat and mouse with yourself until it just becomes too much. That's why you got to do it in a way that it doesn't affect your overall. But you also have to realize remember how I stepped away from it even in the smaller capacities because it sometimes becomes too much and you want to look at things. And for me, it was this spot positioning because I can see a drop that could very well play out. But now I'm not naive. If I see it reverse itself, I also like to take advantage of what I would consider sometimes easier money, but that comes normally from buying the spot. So, but it does look like we're retaking the hourly and the 200. That's a good sign. We're getting a lot of bullish signs here. Another bullish sign is we have 83 likes on 83 viewers. That is the ultimate bullish. Did I see a $5 donation on there as well? Wow. I didn't even realize it. Like, my mind just realized that I read that. That's how much I just started talking, and I kind of blacked out for a second. But I need somebody else to comment just so I can say thanks to that person. I didn't get any donations on last night's stream, so I'm always very gracious and very humbled by anybody who will ever send their hard-earned money. Juan, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Juan, for that $5 donation. And you're welcome, my friend. I really appreciate that so much. JW says, sitting in the back seat, relaxing and enjoying the journey. You and me both, except sometimes I got to take control, you know. But I love the way this audience is because we're so compassionate, and we do things from a very different way. Trump election when doubts grow, Yeah, that's all speculation, conjecture. Another BS story about mysterious 800 million XRP withdrawal, and ended up being from a South Korean exchange, and then it turns out they're just the ones who switched it from the. So they're basically just sending things back and forth. Market sentiment, Bitcoin ETFs, are we in for a bull? Blah, 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 nobody cares. 13 million XRP. I mean, you don't want to be burning XRP, so I'm not going to even push that narrative. Because once you burn all the XRP, I'm not even interested anymore. So it defeats the purpose of why I'm an investor. Tom, I am glad you are a Christian. I am very much so. You know, I give credit to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I remain humbled by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ every day. And I don't forget to give thanks. Nor should anybody. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. Ooh, see, that's kind of... See, that's... Follow the ETFs, ladies and gentlemen. So is this pointing to the fact that Bitcoin could go dip for that liquidity? U.S. Bitcoin exchange traded funds see 541 million in outflows. You want to see inflows for the record. Amid election uncertainty, second largest to date. Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs, in the United States witnessed substantial outflows ahead of a highly anticipated presidential election, marking their second largest outflow day on record. Everybody give Tom a big thumbs up and comment to help him. Yes, anti-communist, yes. Especially, the problem is during the live, they just delete the comments, so when the video gets uploaded to YouTube outside the live, you have to restart on the comments, which sucks. But during the live itself, the more comments, the faster it sends it out to people. The more people that see it before it ever ends, we'll be able to pass it out even more. It's a beautiful thing we have achieved. And I would say hit the like button, but there's no need. All 83 people, the last time I checked, hit the like button. It's incredible. Well, I mean, you know, people come and go, but to my eyes, it was 83 for 83. So on November 4th, just one day before U.S. voters head to the polls, 11 spot ETF recorded net withdrawals totaling 541.1 million, according to DOT. According to the DOT, we're going to have to come to our own conclusion. So according to analytics from so-and-so DOT network, the largest outflow day remains May 1st, when these ETFs saw 563.7 million withdrawn following a 10.7% drop in Bitcoin's price over a week. BlackRock's IBIT reports positive inflows. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF IBIT was the only fund among the group to report positive inflows, attracting 38.4 million. In contrast, several other Bitcoin ETFs faced significant outflows led by Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, FBTC, which saw 169.6 million pulled, and the ARK21 Shares Bitcoin ETF ARK-B, which lost 138.3 million. Grayscale's Bitcoin funds also recorded notable outflows, with 63.7 million exiting the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust GBTC, and an additional 89.5 million leaving its smaller counterpart, marking two of the top 5 outflow figures for the day. The drop in ETF holdings reflects broader market condition or caution, as Bitcoin's price has dipped 4.6% over the past week and 1.7% in the last 24 hours, hovering around 68,000. The retreat, now it's at 69,000 and some change. Breaking yesterday, the second largest, yada yada. Recent polls, nobody gives a rat's ass, at least in this audience. Now this is where, you know, the fix is in, no matter what, that this is all by design. Anywhere where there's betting, you know that it's all, there's always a controlled outcome. Always. Sports, casino, game, there's always a fixed outcome, the house to win. The fact that you can bet on this time around is appalling. You should never be able to bet on who the next president's going to be. Think about it. What if there's billions and billions and billions of dollars flowing in of special interest, and they can't afford to see one side or the other? So then you would see the special interest starting to push one way or the other. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. In fact, I'm almost about to boycott sports betting 100%. I only use it during Michigan football season, but I'm about to boycott it 100% and never ever make a bet again. And it's going to be an interesting thing, because I actually do rather well doing it on my $50 bets, trying to pick 4-team parlays. That's all I do. Try to pick 4 teams that are going to win in the afternoon slate, and then in the midday slate if I win, and then in the evening slate, or I'll try to pick 4 teams across all 3 slates. And I usually do rather well. But now with all this bullshit betting going on, excuse my French, we got to do this nicer. With all this shenanigans going on, we got crypto betting platform Polymarket, even Robinhood does this. Trump's odds have fluctuated sharply, dropping from 67% on October 30th to 53.8% by November 3rd, before the rising again to just above 59%. Analysts suggest the Republican candidate's pro-crypto stance has led to blah, blah, blah. No, we're not going there. And why? No, we're not going there right now. Because I have a very strange feeling that they might be using all of this to pump the price up here during the actual election. But when the polls close, what's the odds they drop the fucking hammer? Excuse my French again. You know, I don't want to be swearing because that promotes a different style of behavior. So I feel like, you know, there's a lot that's going on here that we're just going to have to wait to see how this plays out. But, you know, it's been 45 minutes. I'm going to call it a day here because I got stuff to do with Julie. The girls are about to go back to their dads. So I'm going to get in there, make sure everything's good. So have a blessed evening, everybody. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so very much for tuning in with me for these last 50 minutes. If you're interested, tomorrow I should be back, as always, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes I got to leave just a tiny bit early. Tuesdays are one of them. But as always, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Yes, it was their shenanigans that led to the foul language. I approve that message by True. But yes, and Jules does rule. Jules is awesome. So thank you all so much for the support. And we'll meet again very shortly, I promise. Very shortly. Hashtag be better, do better.